Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Angry American Nation podcast. Chris will not be with us tonight. He's a bit under the weather. But as always, we have Bob T. Toombs from Mountain Readiness. Bob, how you doing tonight?
Brother, we're doing good. Got some sleep, recuperated kind of sort of from Mountain Readiness, so we're ready to rock. We're good.
I understand that completely. Emory Morgan's turned in the house. How are we doing, brother?
Howdy, howdy, everyone.
Yeah, you guys make it home okay?
Yep, got home last night. I got another day at home.
At least one. At least one. He's and fun. The great Sue LaRue. How we doing, Sue? It was great meeting you this past weekend, brother.
Yeah. I'm home, and I'm getting drowned out with all the rain we're getting here in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, we had it as well. And our special guest tonight is Byron Russell with Black Armor Rifle. And we're going to talk a little bit about drone defense tonight, among other things. Byron, welcome to the show.
Welcome. How are y'all?
We're doing well. Well, let's kick it off real quick. Byron, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about what we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, I'm
only wrong answers.
Wrong answers only.
Only wrong.
Everybody guess what I am. All right. So retired Special Forces. I was with Carl and Sue in A15. And pointing way down there is Hollywood Squares right here on this screen right here. And retired in 2009. Gumped my way into a couple of cool jobs, and one of them was working for a drone company out of Massachusetts as their director of training. So I spent like 8 years training military and law enforcement on drones, tactical use of drones and so on and so forth. That company closed its doors thanks to the U.S. government messing up a contract. I don't know about the swearing part yet on there.
You're good.
And
you're good. We're 2 minutes in.
So I decided to, you know what? Let's go. I'm going to go into, I wouldn't call it drone defense, but I would call it drone awareness on your own properties and stuff like, and being able to determine when one might be in your area. So I branched into that on my own under a company called Black Armor Group. Then started a company, was it November 22, Emory, something like that, I think it was, when I started it. And I called you in like December 22. Started Black Armor Guns, building my own rifles for folks. So that's where I sit right now.
Awesome.
And by the way, I mean, so this sounds like, oh, hey, we brought this guy Byron on. Byron is part of our like very, very close little family. So
yes. So and you forgot about Graybeard Syndicate. You didn't mention that.
Oh, we'll get there. We're going
to get there. All right.
Somebody's going to ask me, what's that?
Yeah, what's that thing over there in the corner?
Yeah.
So
well, I'll just talk about. So about, what was it, August? I think it was, Emory. August of last year.
Again, don't ask me dates, Byron.
Yeah. Myself, Emory, and Rawson from Tactical Performance Center came up with Graybeard Syndicate. And Graybeard is a company that we decided we're going to start off as an apparel company. Okay. And it's working pretty good. But we also want to bring in like-minded folks and companies as affiliates to the company to help each other. My bad. Help each other out. Does that make sense? As far as companies like, just for instance, like Prime Combat Training and Black Armor Guns. If I need some training in his area done, I can call him up and square him away with training. With no cost to him, but for my service, but we're helping each other out. And basically it's to make a better American man and American woman. That's what the company is doing.
Amen, brothers and sisters.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why we call it a syndicate, right?
That's right.
The whole idea is it's not a crime syndicate, but it's a syndicate of all these like-minded people, regardless of whether you're in this industry or whatever, right? It can be congruent and it can be unrelated, but but it's creating, especially now where everything's so divisive and divided, it's kind of creating, our style of community. So that's the idea.
And networking.
Yeah, and Byron, I have to say, is in charge. Byron and the boss are in charge of. They're physically handling like all the apparel and the shirts and stuff, and that's why we hired Byron, is because he is traumatically OCD.
Yes.
Biblically,
yes, biblically.
Sue knows.
Amen. Hallelujah. That is also why he makes such good rifles, which, by the way, I just received a little over a week ago. It is amazing. It is just as amazing as the last one that I touched. And that's Emery's fault too, by the way, that I had to buy that rifle. So Emery made me use his on the range in Clarksville, and then it made my LMT look like complete crap. And I was like, I got to buy this rifle. But it was funny how that story.
What was it that made us have to switch your gun? I can't remember. Do you have a problem with this?
No, I don't think I sighted it the way I was supposed to. Remember, it was way off. It was like shooting 7 inches below the target and stuff. You're like, so I was like, well, I may have sighted that real quick off the front porch. So then you give me yours, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this rifle shoots amazing. Yeah. And that trigger, I'm just in love with that trigger. But the rifle is amazing, but the backstory of almost getting a divorce because of the rifle, now that's a whole different situation.
Byron, have you heard this one yet?
It's not because of the price of the rifle. It was because
not even close.
Amber was getting him a rifle. She contacted me and said, hey, it's our anniversary coming up. I want to get him a rifle. I said, sure, let's do that. I gave her a great discount to get him a rifle. And I built her rifle for him. The day before I leave to come to Mountain Readiness, she sends me a text going, that fuckhead. And she just starts tick, 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 tick. It's like, because after a conversation he and I apparently had, which I don't remember, that I was going to bring him a rifle on through a deal through he and I. So she thought he was getting 2 rifles.
2 rifles, which would have been awesome. Which would have been awesome.
Great, right? Isn't hers?
What? It was like just luck of the draw, though, because we're sitting on the couch. Byron posts all the rifle that he's bringing to Mountain Readiness, and he names who the rifles are for, and he was like, this one's for this guy, this one's for this guy, this one, this, and I was like, he didn't say anything about my rifle. And Amber looks at me, she's like, what do you mean your rifle? I'm like, what? He's bringing me a rifle to Mountain Readiness. She's like, you idiot, are you serious? I'm like, what is wrong with you? I told you I was going to get one of these rifles. She was like, I just bought you a rifle. Byron built it for just loses her mind right there. It was a complete meltdown, but it was great. Makes for a great story.
Missy and I started laughing so much in the living room when I read her that text.
I need to screenshot that text and send it to me. I don't think I've gotten to see this.
Yeah.
No, I'll just hold that to myself. That was sent to me in confidence.
I have to get in her phone then. I'm gonna have to take a look at her phone. So
too funny.
But
so I offered to sell Russ one, but he didn't want one. He went to PSA and got him a rifle.
Man,
Russ,
I needed 2. And I just couldn't
yet.
Okay, let me say that I couldn't.
I'm hearing a lot of
yet. And that my lovely bride sitting right over there knows it is a yet. But the reason we went and bought 2 new more ARs is we took Carl's combat pistol rifle carbine, and while our current ARs ran well, we didn't have any malfunctions, no breakages on the guns. They weren't quite set up right for what we were training as, and we wanted to get something a little different. So we bought new PSAs. They do come with a lifetime warranty, so that's a bonus. So if I give it to Emery, he breaks it against a tree, I go get a new one. But I mean, it could happen. And
I've been known to break a thing or two.
one
Great stuff.
But just simple things that after Byron and I had several conversations about it. Emery, you and I did as well as Troy. And if we'd have gone and taken the current ARs to a gunsmith and had them do what we wanted done, we'd have come out probably.
You'd spend a shitload of money.
Yeah, it'd have been either a shitload of money or about the same as buying 2 brand new ones. So 2 is 1, 1 is none. So now we have backups.
Nice.
But the training was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, for the record, there was nothing wrong with your previous rifles.
Very true.
Functionally speaking, there's something wrong with Sue, but we know that.
Share and share alike. Like, you got something to share with the class?
He was just taking his daily Ritalin. No big deal.
He's snorting salt again.
That's what it was.
No,
I seen a kid sniff pepper.
I'm just trying to snort all your 5.56 BS that everybody's talking here. Oh, great!
Goddamn coward snipers!
You guys shoot a girl caliber. You shouldn't even be rated as soldiers because you can't handle recoil, and you idiots get into 15-foot gunfights. But the name of the rifle for all of our viewers is the Door Kicker. So
absolutely,
that right there tells you that it's probably a good rifle. It's very well built, but
yes,
I hope I can convince Byron to start doing something in 308 or 6.5 or something like that.
And I would do that, but to be honest, if I have 100 people wanting 223 guns, I have 1 wanting a 308. So the density
he's
of building those guns and putting the R&D into it is the juice ain't worth the squeeze sometimes. That makes sense.
Excuse me. Sue, I don't know what the hell you're talking about because you just stole my 308 rifle. You have absolutely no legitimacy whatsoever to bitch about 308.
I didn't steal it. I'm putting it in safekeeping because remember I loaned it to you 3 years ago and I'm just like,
oh, is this the POF?
Yes, that was a Christmas gift.
That's got to be the POF.
I love my family. They gave me a Christmas gift. They being this guy over here.
How could I give you a Christmas gift? You're Jewish, you idiot.
Hey, I'm not the one that said, hey, well, it is Christmas and you're at my house, so why don't you take this gun? Oh, yeah, hey, that girl you're dating, why don't we give her one too? Tell me I'm wrong.
I was drunk.
And Robbie laughing.
I said,
my mom got out of prison.
My wife's sitting right over here. She remembers.
Was that Robbie laughing?
I loaned you that rifle.
No, that was Teresa.
Oh, why don't you invite your beautiful bride over and let's see what she says.
Where you have
the truth of it.
You work on that.
She's shaking.
She's like, nope.
He doesn't want to make you look bad in front of the internet, so it's okay.
No, she's gonna tell you the truth. She doesn't want to hurt her boyfriend's feelings.
Listen, brother, I love you. I hope you enjoy that gun for the next few months. That's all. Enjoy it.
You don't need to.
On that happy note.
So actually, Byron,
I think I'll actually go out and buy some 5.56 ammo, and I will go talk to Byron about getting a senior citizen discount, a senior citizen and a handicap discount, and a veteran discount. So, and Missy thinks I'm her special needs child, his wife. I've got several spankings from Missy when I was supposed to babysit Byron's kid.
Was I there?
I got more spankings as a
where was
babysitter.
I during this?
Now,
you know about this, Byron?
Hold on a minute, guys. I distinctly remember a story that was told around the campfire this past weekend while we were up in Mountain Readiness, and I believe it was Byron was the one babysitting you, Sue.
Well, he was, but I was showing his son Houston how to play Xbox, and every once in a while Missy would come in and they would invite me to dinner or something like that, and I always was I was one of the boys, you know. I was always teaching his sons things what not to do in front of mom, and I always got caught. So I always got the spanking. I always got the butt chewing.
just logged into your Gmail. So
Deservedly.
Huh?
AARP discount.
There you go.
Into it.
Now, Byron, too, is not just all those titles. This man can make the best stuffed jalapeno poppers you've ever had.
Poppers. Oh, yeah.
That is not a lie.
Yeah. Bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. I kept eating. I kept shoving them in, and I wanted to throw up. I ate so many of them, but they're just that good. So smoked jalapeno poppers.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it right now.
That was really good.
Yes, those were amazing.
Byron,
So what did we miss?
Byron has a very interesting way to fill the freezer as well. He wakes up every morning during season and sits in the classroom. He's got a nice setup.
What are you talking about?
And then
I'm out in nature. I'm out in nature.
I meant nature's classroom.
So
that's what I meant, literally. Yeah, he'll just sit there. And
I was watching some video yesterday about this guy talking about hunting and sitting in nature by yourself. I was like, see, honey, I sit in nature while I'm out there hunting. And she looks at me going, what the fuck are you talking about? You're in the classroom.
Yeah, you're never going to convince Missy of any silly crap. Period.
Hey, I'm not proud. I shot a doe off the front porch at my house. So,
I did 2 Thanksgivings ago. Smoke a buck from my bathroom window with a muzzleloader.
Yes. How did that? I mean, did you just?
So I was taking a crap, and
that's what I was going to ask. I was like,
and the
so
dogs,
you just sitting there with the
dogs are going
loader?
off. The dogs are going off in the backyard, and when they go off, that means there's a deer back there, and it's probably 150 meters, 150 yards away. And for some reason, there's just a muzzleloader sitting next to that window in the shitter. I don't know how it got there. And and I look out and I was like, oh, that's a good buck. And I raise the window up. I'm still, because in the mornings, I kind of don't have any clothes on when I'm taking a poop. And going off and smoked his bags. And then we had family over, and they were in the kitchen with my wife, and they were cooking breakfast or whatever. They jumped like, what the fuck was that? And Mr. He just shot a buck. And she runs into the bathroom to see me standing there holding my muzzleloader, naked as a jaybird. Totally naked.
So let me ask you this, Byron.
This is not a guy to mess with, though, people. Like,
wait a minute.
Think about that. A muzzleloader in the bathroom.
Well, but after you got done cleaning the animal,
you have to wipe your butt.
That's where I was going.
What's
That's
that?
where I was going. I was going to go with, hey, after you clean the animal and everything, did you then go back to wipe your ass?
Did you wipe?
Of course.
Did you wipe?
Yes.
Can't say I've ever done that. I've never shot a deer out of the bathroom window. But I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, take it. Take
when you
take
live on
charge.
a larger
Take charge
property
of the
and you need to
situation.
stuff the freezer, that's what you do.
I'm glad you clarified
Sometimes you
that.
gotta do it.
I thought you were going to say you never wiped your butt.
I mean, occasionally. I'm kind of a bougie butt wiper. I carry around my baby wipes everywhere with me. Like when the world ends, I'm going to miss like a couple things, and it's going to be coffee, chocolate, and baby wipes. Those 3 things. I don't know if I can live without.
you know, I'm going to take a guess here, and I'm betting T has never used the toilet paper out of an MRE.
I've used some John Wayne toilet paper, and that's why I carry baby wipes, because unless I have to, why put my bunghole through that kind of torture? Not to mention, if you've got to go on a long walk, think about this. We've all hiked. I had once my car broke down years and years ago. Ended up walking, I think it was about 15, 16 miles. And I'm going to tell you, a thing of baby wipes make the whole difference between that trip going relatively decent or the swamp ass getting you. If you think your feet hurting is going to take you out of the game, wait till you get the swamp ass. Tell you, baby wipes are a game changer, bro.
Monkey butt. It's a thing, guys.
Monkey butt.
You know what,
It's a
Steve,
thing.
not only are you right, but recently I've started doing the same thing. I've like pretty much bought stocks in this company. What is it, dude wipes? Because they're unscented and
Unscented, hypoallergenic.
as well as, wiping your butt.
Yeah.
Great.
Sometimes you just got to take a bath. I've got like 2 big things of them in the truck. I keep them in my pack. I carry them around everywhere. I've got them all over. I just stashed all it. I'm going to get me a stash sometime, a cache, bury them out here somewhere in the woods. That way, maybe I have baby wipes and post-apocalyptic times. But
this is the conversations that
changer.
people don't bring up during, survival situations. They forget all about that. They just take it.
It's huge. There's a couple things I carry in my bag. It's baby wipes. A couple things, baby wipes, because it is, man. You get all galled up. You are miserable. You are miserable. You want to die. Your feet hurt. That's one thing. Your butt cheeks are tore up, man. That's another world. And I carry around Celtic sea salt because food sucks, and that's a whole bunch of trace minerals, right? So I carry a thing of Celtic sea salt with me in my go bag, my get home bag. And because the food thing, because you make some food, and salt makes the whole difference. There's such a thing as just eating bland food where you just want to shoot yourself after a while. I've been there. I'm sure you guys all have too. You're like, man, just a little salt would make this so much better.
Yeah, food and
then protein powder. I carry protein powder as well.
Well, salt, and people underestimate salt too, right? The flavor it gives food makes anything more edible, but also it helps you retain water. It's you need salt.
Right.
People forget that shit because we're in the age of salt gives you cancer and heart attacks.
Oh, it's bad. Sodium. Seriously, I've been doing in the mornings to stay hydrated, taking a crystal of sea salt, and I said sea salt when I said crystal. Stick it under your tongue, let it dissolve, and then slam you a glass of water. That lets all the cells open up and draw all that water into the cells. It's a thing. Look it up, and it works.
Well, I think that's what Sue was doing earlier. He was taking his salt via.
He was taking his salt via the nasal passage.
I agree with Andrew.
Absolutely.
What Andrew say? Bland food. Yeah,
that's right.
Hey,
I
give it to him.
I only eat salt with tequila. That's the only thing I eat.
Salt with tequila.
And I usually lick it off of a cleavage.
Cleavage.
All righty.
But not
There you have
Emery's. He's got a hairy cleavage.
I'm a healthy C cup. I can tell you. That's a C cup.
Moobs.
Stu's favorite thing is
C cup.
When we haven't seen each other in a while, I'll come up and be like, come, rest your head on my bosom. Come.
Yacht your press shoe, Sue.
So
man,
Byron, did you see last week's episode when we all were waterboarding it?
I did. Y'all were fucking it up though.
That was one train wreck.
Was fucking it up. We didn't mean for the circle to be on the computer.
Yeah, Skylink kind of took a dump on us when they were doing that, and they had it down, and then they did it, and they had the circle of death on the screen for the Skylink or Starlink, and then they ended up doing it at the end, and I believe 3 people got waterboarded at the end.
It did.
Yeah, I saw all of it.
Which was, I came in late, and I see my inversion table sitting there. I'm like, man, is Chris's back hurting that bad? And then I realized it was just a waterboarding session.
It was just the idiots doing idiot stuff.
Man, everybody's backs are trashed after this weekend. Nope, waterboard.
I got to tell you, though, I feel blessed because I feel blessed that we had the technical error that we did in the beginning of it not working, because y'all may not have seen it, but I got to waterboard Sue twice. Just saying.
That's awesome.
Always a bonus.
But what did we miss? Because I was too busy cleaning toilets and emptying trash and getting soaked, Byron, with your class that you did at Mountain Readiness. Give us like the lowdown on, that class that you did on drone defense.
Okay, so it was apparent that folks were oblivious to the fact that any drone could fly over any property without repercussions. Okay, they can literally fly the airspace. No, it's your airspace from the ground to infinity. It has an easement from the same ground to infinity for air traffic. Okay. And folks didn't know that. They thought, well, it's over my property, I can just shoot it. Or no, you can't. And that type of information is what I was putting out. And I was, I wasn't giving a full complete class. It was more of a, hey, this is what you to expect when you come to Indian Mound for Carl, tactical rifleman's classes on tactical drone and drone defense. And drone defense is really a kind of a misnomer. It's more like drone awareness. Does that make sense? Because the only really defense against a drone was to take it out of the sky, which you're not allowed to do. It carries the same punishment as taking a Cessna out of the sky. Does that make sense? So not allowed to do that. But you, as and this is what I was telling them, there are certain things you can do to make yourself a harder target. You know what I mean by harder target? You can conceal stuff, and I'm not saying anybody's trying to do anything nefarious and concealing anything, but I do get drone pilots go, well, why can't I fly over your property? And I've heard this. Why can't I fly over your property? If you're not trying to hide anything, what difference does it make? I said, okay, I'm just going to walk in your house tonight. Why can't I just walk in your house tonight? Well, that's my house. You might, that's my stuff. Well, my property is my stuff too. You know what I mean? So I should be allowed to conceal, defend against anybody that is using a camera to see on my property. Does that make sense?
Right.
And then I went into a few things of early warning, how there's a few things that you can do to get warning, of aircraft in the area. There's apps out there, but if you live out in the boonies where I do, everybody here has been here except Russ. That app is less than useless. But there's things. The biggest thing you could probably do is, you can. And everybody has them, especially on farms, is train your dog. Train your dog to listen for that sound and train him to just come and alert you and say, hey, I've got this. I can hear this right now. Because folks with dogs, their dog is going off in their house. Like our dogs go off in our house all the damn time. And they're like, there's nothing out there. They're not barking at anything. I'm sorry, but dogs don't bark at nothing. They either hear it, see it, smell it, which is a big thing. And they're barking at something that's not typical for that makes them uncomfortable. So you can train a dog for that sound of those motor controllers on a drone. Easy. And they can hear that thing from a quarter mile away.
Yeah, and dogs naturally want to bark at drones when they're flying by. You just start them up close and piss the dog off, and that's it. You got it.
So let me get this right, though. So anyone can fly a drone over the top of my place, and there's nothing I can do about it per se, as far as shooting it or something of that nature.
Correct.
But what if my drone decides to fly up and have an accidental collision with their drone?
It happens.
Right?
It happens with big aircraft. Right. So I've worked with the engineers at that drone company for a minute, and they found it very difficult to hit a drone with another drone. Very hard to do. The best defense against drones is to become a drone pilot yourself. Learn to fly your drone like it's second nature and be able to get it in the air fast. Go through all the legal mumbo jumbo if you have to. If you're making money at it, you got to become a Part 107 pilot. If you're not making money at it, you're just a hobbyist. You can do what you want to on your property. But learn to be a pilot first. That's your best defense. Does that make sense?
Is there something now? There's a height. Is there a height that you can go before you're going too high
Yeah,
for
400 feet.
interference with play?
Yeah, 400 feet.
Max. Okay.
400 feet.
All right.
Well, we have
Nice.
a question, and I'm gonna put it up here on the screen for you, Byron. The question is, can you laser a drone? I have a laser that is multiple beams spread out, and this is from Hardway, Alaska.
No, you cannot laser a drone either. Remember, there's a pilot flying that drone, and it's just like a pilot being in an aircraft. He has to be able to see where he is going regardless. So think of it this way. If you damage or disable a drone in some way and it flies into a manned aircraft because of that, now what have you caused? Does that make sense? So no IR
lasers then.
What's powering those things? You might, lipo batteries, lithium batteries are powering these things, and they crash into a tree. It's easy. I hate to say it. It's easy for a lipo battery to start a fire. It is really easy.
Okay.
Especially when it's smashed into something. I've seen it, a bunch of times. Training Joe out there, flying around, and he gets cocky and he hits a tree or a road sign or something like that, and then there's a fire all of a sudden from that battery.
Yeah, lipo batteries are notoriously dangerous. You got to watch it when you're charging them. Watch it when they're in rest. Blah blah blah.
And you don't want to get them wet. They'll off gas. Yeah.
Now, going back to the becoming a pilot, the main reason for becoming a pilot is you learn the limits and constraints of a drone. Does that make sense? So when you see a drone and it's a certain size drone, at a certain altitude, you can realize, well, that drone can't be that pilot cannot be far from me. If it's certain winds, that there's no drones flying in these winds right now, that kind of stuff. That's the stuff you learn when you become a pilot, what you can and cannot do with a drone, which means what they can and cannot do with a drone. Does that make sense to everybody? I think so. That's for me.
Yeah, anyway. I think what I like about the way Byron does this, Byron and I have spent some time doing and talking some drone stuff. The way Byron thinks these things out is, very SF, for lack of a better kind of way to put it, right? I mean, you're finding solutions. You got to know what your problem is first. Right. Identify the problem, identify the capabilities and drawbacks of that platform, right? And what everybody thinks of is shotgun, camo net.
Right? Well, I agree that those work really good, though.
Well, they do, but Byron's got, this is why Byron's putting on with Tactical Riflemen a drone operator and drone defense class coming up this fall, winter, something like that. Is because most of these things people just don't think about, and it's lifestyle things. It's, keeping your head out of the sand type of things that Byron teaches that are really valuable. So it gives you a different.
And so you're doing you got a class coming up too then on this, Byron?
2 of them. One's in October. That is a tactical drone class that Carl came up with or wants me to do. And got another one for me. Drone defense is in November. Now the drone defense is a 4-day class. The first 2 days, what's the number one thing about drone defense? Become a pilot.
Everybody gets cut.
It's become a pilot. So the first 2 days, we teach you to be a pilot. And then the next 2 days, we go over drone defense. Does that make sense? The one in October is just a drone pilot thing. So it's a 2-day course.
Okay. So would those classes lead to actual certification as a pilot?
No, certification is merely you taking a Part 107 course and then taking the test. Okay. It's not, there's no hands-on. It's all like a pilot written test. That's what it is. You go into weather, charts, when the pilot in charge, what they're always doing, everything that you need to know between the ears to become a certified pilot. And there's actually no testing for flying and all that kind of stuff itself.
It's not dissimilar to getting a CCW. You go, you take the class, they teach you about the rules, they teach you which side the bullet comes out of. but you want to go learn how to shoot that thing properly and carry it properly.
Yes.
You go to someone who knows what they're talking about.
No, I'm sure
So you done any drone stuff? What about you?
What's that?
So you do any drone flying, or are you just running from them?
Who, me? Or who you asking? Oh, Sue, sorry.
No, Emery and I went down that path not too long ago, just a few months ago, and I've got a bad taste in my mouth for drones, but not so much for drones, for the company that we worked with. And matter of fact, that's one of the reasons my computer's not working, is because they still control my computer. So I will say this: I did travel to Poland and took part in some of the train the trainer type things, and then I went and looked at the effects that they're having in Ukraine's war against Russia. And as a matter of fact, there was a huge article today about the drones that Ukraine's using to destroy oil refineries and things like that. But like Byron said, you got to know the different types of drones. What kind of there's basically two types of drones. The drones that you can just look at a camera and you see you see it from a screen, and then there's a first person. The one that Emery and I trained on was the first person viewer, where you actually feel like you're you're sitting on the drone and you're flying as you're controlling it. You feel like the pilot. And I'll let Byron get into the details of that. But the bigger your drone, of course, the more power draw, and you might get some increased range. But most of the drones that we're familiar with are electric. They're on electric motors and servos, and they don't have a lot of range, and they damn sure don't have a lot of air time.
That's right. And the biggest, what part of the drone are you really defending against? And that would be the cameras. You can't shoot the drone. You can't knock it out of the sky in any way, shape, or form, but you can, if you have to, do some concealment, change your pattern of life, that kind of thing. If you suspect that somebody is spying on you with a drone of some sort. And also, when you become a pilot, you can, if you find a drone in your area flying around, you could probably figure out where they're flying it from. Because if they're low level, what's the one thing between the drone and the pilot? Line of sight. From the drone antenna to the controller antenna, there has to be a line of sight. There can't be anything in between those, because it degrades the performance in the video. So if it's a smaller type drone that happens to be below tree level in your area, that pilot is close. As a matter of fact, his antenna can see the antenna of that drone. You can't, if you do have drones in your area that seems to be spying on you, you can contact the authorities. You can do that. So know your area. That's another thing about becoming a pilot. You get to fly your area all the time, right? And know what's changed in your area on your property. That's another good thing. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Why is this, why has this tree fallen that's over here? And then you can go investigate it. What happened to one of my cows? Damn, I lost one of my damn cows or something like that. You can actually do that with the drone too. It's not just always looking for defense, but you can use it for other things on your property.
Absolutely. Well, we have a couple of questions. Let's see. We'll go with this one. This is from Susan Heron. She says, are there any anti-drone weapons available to civilians?
No, there are not.
No, there's a big the drone warfare going on between Ukraine and Russia right now, and the Americans are learning a lot from it. It mainly, and again, Byron can probably get into detail on this, but it's mostly involves jamming of the frequencies that the drone uses.
Now,
so you
the
got
big thing right there.
A lot of jammers out there, a lot of electronic warfare and counter electronic warfare.
We went to Carson to do a demo for them on a aircraft that we had that actually delivered explosives for EOD. And they were using a jammer, a signal jammer, like Pete had just talked about in his little comment there, his question. And they used a signal jammer. It took them as a military unit months to get permission to use that signal jammer on that installation at that exact time, because they have to, put out a RAWs to get all the aircraft out of the area or anybody that could be affected by that signal jammer. Does that make sense? I mean, those things are powerful, very powerful, and you don't know what else they're affecting besides the drone that you're trying to affect.
Yeah, and that's the military, right? Think about that. So I've been involved. I had a few people from Israel a couple of years back reach out to me, and their companies were representing companies that had these kind of capabilities for government use only. And I had started going around to different police departments and municipalities and stuff, trying to show these capabilities. And there was not a single purchase because they are not allowed to use it, right? Even if it is very specifically against a drone, whatever, taking a drone out of the sky, your local law enforcement almost completely is not allowed to use it either. So, based on that, civilians definitely have a solution.
Russ would know this too, as you know. Russ is has a ham radar operator license. If you use that equipment for drones, what are you doing to all of your emergency radios, your cell phone towers, your VHF, your UHF, your repeaters? If that jammer hit a repeater, think of, in a municipality, think of all those people that would lose communication instantly.
Absolutely.
Even banks who do digital exchanges, financial exchanges. If that thing's 5 or 10 watts, or God forbid it's up to 400 watts, then you could wipe out entire city blocks using a jammer that the military uses on the front right now in Ukraine and Russia.
That's it. It's drone dog fights for me then. That's what a drone on drone dog fight. That's where we're going with it.
Yeah, and
drone versus drone, exactly.
In Iraq, Carl and I were on a gig in Solder City, and we had naval EOD with us, and they had a few things. One of them's called the Woody. It goes in the back of your Humvee, and it does some signal jamming. Never leave the bubble, right, Sue? Never leave the bubble. And on this particular mission, we knew that folks would be calling ahead, telling folks that we were coming, because we just drive in the middle of the night. Only people driving at night were us, because of curfews. When we arrived, they switched it on this new nuclear jammer I just call it the nuclear jammer. They switched that thing on. It shut off all communications within a mile, all commo, ours too,
Wow.
Yes, it was pretty nice piece of kit, but they had to get permission to use that even there for that purpose.
I never noticed when they used it because I always kept my radio off anyway.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to use mine. That was a terrible Green Beret.
And jammed up Sue's Morse code.
But I still had wigwag flags.
That's right.
In smoke signals.
Out there with the smoke signals.
Yeah. By the way, they do make a drone that is made to take out drones, and it does it physically. So it's got like a little couple of arms off the bottom with like a net, and then you lock it onto the other drone, and it just goes and zips right by it. And as long as it's within a couple feet of overhead of the drone, at some point the net gets entangled in the other drone, and it takes it out of the sky. I don't know if that's available for civilians, but it may be. I don't see why not.
I've always
if you got a big enough drone, really, you just hang a little net off the bottom of it. I don't know about the the locking on and all that kind of stuff, but I would imagine I've got a friend that's got a drone that it will lock on you, doing the filming, and no matter what you're doing, running, we were out on the range running, and this thing keeps a perfect 10-foot radius. It just kept circling around us. Freaked me out, All I could do is think about, I kept thinking about Sarah Connor, the whole time. I was like, here it comes.
Andrew Ball. I can read it. What frequency do the drones run on most of the time? Could you use a tiny SA? Funny you should ask that. So most drones, they run 2 frequencies, 2.4 for C2 and 5.8 for video. We, Black Armor Guns, we are working on a little manned device that can be carried, and it's using something eerily similar to a tiny SA. The issue with the tiny SA is it doesn't give you enough of a signal. The furthest we've gotten out with a tiny SA device, there's an actual thing called tiny SA, as Andrew just brought up. It can only pick up 5.8 at about 30 yards, which isn't enough, right? My standard is 200 yards. I need to be able to know something's within a 200-yard radius of me. We are doing some things with a tiny SA type device and adding not a special antenna, but we're putting something in link from the antenna to that. And just think of it like this. What signal does the pilot have, or what piece of equipment does the pilot have that picks up that signal? And that would be the controller. The controller picks up 5.8. Great. The video, does everybody understand what I'm saying? So there's a part in a controller that we are using along with the tiny SA to increase that distance of being able to pick up 5.8. So yes, it's a good question, Andrew.
So,
and Chris,
Byron, if I thought somebody was
signal analyzer. Go ahead.
Probably, if I walked under high tension wires, somebody's spying on me with a drone. If I headed over to the high tension wires or over to where to the transformers on the electric poles and everything, doesn't that kind of mess up their signals too?
No, just think of it this way. If, becoming a pilot, I can just hover away from that. I don't have to be right on top of those high tension wires or generators to see you. I can be away from that. So that's hard. That signal's hard to get away from. Best way to do is to camouflage yourself, walk through the trees. I mean, it is hard as hell to look down through trees. Really easy to look through trees this direction with a drone or a thermal on a drone. But looking down is almost impossible, unless I guess it's wintertime, right? Or you're in the desert.
Now I've got a question. So we know 400 foot is the max that you can go up. You're not allowed to shoot them out of the sky, anything like that. But when is there a certain level that you're coming down that makes it to where it is trespassing, or is it just flying? So this thing could be
ground to infinity has an easement.
Yeah, it's getting shot at 6 foot. That's just it.
Now there was a case in World War II time frame. I forgot forgive me. I'll forget the name of the time, but this farmer lived at the end of an airfield, and planes that were taken off were coming over about 88 foot over his property, and chickens were going loopy. I guess he was losing chickens to these aircraft that were just taking off and coming in because he lived at the end of a runway. Well, he took it to court and won, but and this is where people think 88 foot or 83 foot, whatever it is the limit. It's not. It was decided that even though he does own that property, the air from the ground up, the U.S. government put an easement on every bit of it. Just like, where your mailbox is sitting, on the road. You may own your driveway, but that part where your mailbox sitting and where water is and all that coming up to there.
It's like the meter on your house.
Yeah. So that's what they're getting at with that.
So we have another question. And let's see. General Preparedness one says, would an RTLSDR setup work as SA on those controllers?
That I don't know. I wish I could tell you, but I would not know that yet. We're not using the controller itself. We're using a tiny SA along with another piece of equipment so we took a part out of a controller to do that. RTL, right.
Wow, Mel Weatherman, she's getting a Prairie Dog Friday. Is all I saw. I said,
have fun getting the plague, Mel. We love you.
Yeah, they got fleas. They got a lot of fleas. Just saying. Don't let Amber see this. Next thing you know, I'll have prairie dogs as well.
That's what a good 223 rifle's for.
That's right.
Exactly. I got this door kicker that'll work great.
Yeah.
So ask Emery though about my wife and baby strollers. That's always good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to tell Janelle about this. So we get to T's house.
You need to pass that on.
No, I only got home late last night, but we get to T's house. All of us were having a barbecue. This is a few days after mountain readiness when we were the last day of our classes there, and they got chickens. They got this beautiful, beautiful homestead. What a spectacular piece of land. And a couple of eccentric goons living there, and Amber, his wife, is literally walking her chickens like 6 at a time from one place to another in a no bullshit stroller made for chickens. A stroller made for chickens.
It's a stroller
that they put chickens
in. She puts chickens in. I do not put the actually I did help her put the chickens in there the other night. And it was mildly entertaining. But it's not something I do on the norm.
Yeah. I would hazard to guess that the little chicken stroller worked a whole lot better than the 550 cord that Sue used.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm behind Sue when we arrived at Mountain Readiness. He, we meet. Where did we meet at, Sue? Because I came in right behind you. I mean, you were literally parking as I was pulling in, and he's got 2 roosters with him, and I have no sooner put my truck in park, and he lost control of both of them immediately. I mean.
I only lost control of one of them. The other one had a 550 cord tied to him around his talon. But when we went to lunch, Feather Houdini got out of my slip knot. So yeah, I did lose control of them, both of them. Yeah.
Sue missed the knot class that we were having there.
Damn it, Sue! It's right over left over right.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
And the bunny ear goes over the top and underneath. Yeah.
All the bunny ear. Friday and Saturday, all the women around there love those 2 roosters like they own the campground. So those 2 roosters were supposed to be part of the chicken kill class. I had too many roosters. I told T that I would bring some of my chickens, and all the women fell in love with these roosters. So they got a reprieve, and they got pardoned, and now they're pets in some lady's yard.
Keeping every
I walked
camper
out of the
away.
RV.
Well, here's the brilliant.
It was 5 a.m. every single morning.
Oh yeah, everybody hates me because that was the alarm clock every morning. Was 5.
Yeah, Nuts over here decides to mess with Chris and Mel, and so he puts these 2 damn roosters in the little chicken box, and he goes and he puts it right underneath their RV, right under where the master bed is. And we were all dying laughing. And in the morning, turns out they slept so hard they didn't even hear it. So he picked it up and took it and put it under Susan's RV. She heard it. Well, we all heard it because that shit was right next to my tent. Yeah, but that was a cute prank. It was a cute prank.
It was. Amber fed them every morning, and then she fed the rooster some chicken food on the seat of the side-by-side. So it's raining Saturday, and we wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I walk outside. Here's this rooster staring me dead in the face because I got the side-by-side parked right there, and it has shit. I mean, everywhere. There is crap all over the seat, all over the floor, and he just hanging out, dry as a bone. Of course, I mean, he did great. Didn't get wet at all. And so I spent the first half hour of the morning, when I was supposed to be, getting classes ready, cleaning up chicken crap. And the whole time I'm like, damn Sue and these stupid roosters.
Sue decided you were.
He didn't even do it. My own wife sabotaged me on that one.
And to top it all off, they were Rhode Island Reds, so they kind of look like me. They had the red hair going on.
They did.
And they were fighting each other the whole time.
Around.
They had the strut. They had the strut. I kind of learned how to walk from chickens in my front yard. Chest out, little strut going on. Yeah. So everybody in the campground hated me at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. But those roosters, they lived good that week. Like everyone, they were being fed left and right. They just, I mean, it would come right up to you. They would be right at your foot, and did not care in the world.
So did you take the home, Sue? Like, how did this whole shit show end?
The roosters?
Charlie Williams' wife. Didn't Charlie's wife take them?
Well, Charlie Williams' sister called and said, I want those roosters for pets. So I had to pack them up. We waited till dark, and I had to crawl under the campers and capture them, when they thought they were roosted up. And I put them back in that little dog kennel and gave them to Charlie, and he took them home to his sister. So they're alive and well.
Hanging out, living the life.
What a shame.
It's an interesting week there at Mountain Readiness, to say the least.
Amber gave me some candy before we left too.
Yeah,
Skittles. That's the first time I've had those.
Oh yeah, freeze-dried. And freeze-dried Skittles
and freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches. Right.
Yeah.
So when I got home, Missy and I think a couple of days ago, tried out the Skittle. We did our own Skittles, and that worked out fine. But then we did Starburst. And Starburst, you have to do a little different because a freeze dryer only gets up to 150, and you need to melt them a little more in the oven first, and then stick them in the freeze dryer to make them work. But we did buy ice cream sandwiches for that purpose, and those some bitches never saw the light of day. I consumed those so fucking fast.
We have the same thing, Byron. We got a freeze dryer here, and
honey, man.
Every time we have bought ice cream sandwiches specifically for this purpose, they don't even get to the freeze dryer.
Don't even get them.
Get open, and they're gone.
We brought bit of honey, freeze dried bit of honey up there, and those things were insane.
Man, have you had the bit of honey, Byron?
No.
Oh, you need to try it. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, I ate a whole bag. I was ready to tie off and hit myself with the insulin shot, dude. They're good. They're good. I was just, slap, get it ready. Yeah. Keep eating out of the bag. I mean, these things are, I did not believe that you could have a candy that good. The Skittles and stuff like that, they're good, but the bit of honey by far is my favorite thus far.
I mean, Brian Kirby is going to be sending me. He said that he mentioned the word case of bit of honey. I hope he doesn't send that much, but he's sending me bit of honey, and we're going to freeze dry it for him and send it to him. But we are
Survival Gear BSO.
Yep.
Brian,
we are getting close to the end, guys. Let's go around the horn. T, what do we got going on with you? Coming up,
coming up. So we've got September the 13th, 14th, and 15th at Camp Barnhart. We're doing. It's Joe, Ted, and I are doing Protecting the Homestead. It's going to be just what it sounds like, homestead defense. We're going to be doing CQB, husband-wife CQB. We got a rappelling tower, camping on site, all that good stuff. And then, of course, October the 18th through the 20th will be Fallout 2024 with Angery and the gang. And we're going to be, that's more of the camp, hangout, camping, and primitive skill stuff.
Awesome. And of course, we have the Mountain Readiness 3.0, May 2nd through the 4th of 2025. Put that one on your calendars as well.
More waterboarding, I'm sure.
More waterboarding, I'm sure.
More waterboarding, roosters.
Yeah. Let's go, Emery. What do you got going on? You guys still be doing some training? I know you got other stuff planned as well.
Yeah, but, we got a lot of stuff going on. Carl, I just got home last night from this whole ordeal. Carl's out training in Texas now. I couldn't join him. I got other stuff I have to attend to for the next few months. So if some of you guys see me less, I apologize. I'll catch up with you on the flip side. But before all of that, we are going to France in about 2 weeks to go commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day by flinging ourselves from airplanes onto the beaches in Normandy. Should be awesome. Sue, I love you.
Very cool.
Be with us. You should be with us. Sue's not clear.
Totally jealous. Totally jealous.
I'm not jealous.
Yeah, I never got cleared by the doctor,
jealous.
So Of course, I'm being the French-speaking one. I'm not allowed to go to France. Well, if I jumped into France anyway, the French Foreign Legion would probably lock me up. So,
well, and let's be honest, your French isn't good either.
Well, neither is your Hebrew. So shut up.
So, Sue, what do you got going on? I know you guys are going to be having a meetup, monthly meetup, I believe, with
monthly meetup.
Well, we're trying to get that Appalachian Trackers Association started. We're kind of T's actually going to be monitoring that, and he's going to help us market it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to float some ideas, but Charlie and I will be doing a class next week, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd in Raven Rock, which is right outside of Lillington. So we're doing a law enforcement class for search and rescue, and then like I told you, Russ, I'm studying up and researching on ham radio. I want to set up a ham radio operator network and teach you guys Morse code. Not Emory. We won't teach Emory because he's too stupid to learn Morse code.
No, you're stupid.
Right. Well, Byron, what else do you got going on? I know you mentioned a couple classes earlier. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media and where they can find out information about these classes that you have coming up.
Whoa, here's some dogs going at it. I didn't put any of the social media stuff on here. Literally, all you have to do is look up Black Armor Guns, anything, and you'll find webpage, YouTube. What else is there, Emory? Instagram,
Facebook,
Facebooks, and same with Graybeard right here. Also, I don't have to post all that stuff. Just look those up. I'm still building guns. I don't want to build more than 49 a year. I will not build more than 49 guns a year, and I'm getting real close already. It's because the government wants to tax me. So, I'm not giving them that money.
Well, and folks, if you look at the description on YouTube, it does have the links to his social media on there. And guys, thanks again. Byron, thank you for coming on. Again, Chris's apologies for not being here tonight, but we made it through it. And guys, we'll do this again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah. See ya.